Hello, and welcome back to our continuing campaign. I am Bjorn Anders, your DM, and these are the players. Say hi, players.
Hi,
Hi,
players.
players.
Dumb. God, I love
You're
it.
gonna
I
set
love
us up like that. It's gonna happen.
it. It makes me happy.
Believe that, player.
It makes me very happy. So, continuing on, you all have left the town of Harmony Creek via two different carts to head towards Ruby's Crossing. One cart was of the Finnegan family, which is the family Siobhan belongs to. Siobhan and Reba riding in that one. The other four of you rode in the cart of an individual known as Gandos the Magnificent, who it was quickly discovered is a magician the likes of which can handle children's birthday parties, and Siobhan discovered is actually an individual named Stephen, who is a drug dealer.
This was not me.
Which is Reba. I was looking at you on my screen there, Siobhan. It was Reba who discovered. Siobhan is just saying no. And
Hey, that's how it all started.
right, yeah. Reba, on the other hand, our last campaign, you created your dare pamphlet.
Yes,
Yep.
I did. Well, at this time, I said just say no to drugs, and then Steven disagreed with me.
Yeah, well, Steven's got money to make. But you all arrived in Ruby's Crossing. Information was given to Kira and Mannix that since they are from the Empire, maybe they should be careful about what they do, who they talk to, and where they stay. They were recommended to go to a inn known as the Private Tide, where Kira acquired rooms for them as well as Pohaku and Garnet. Reba having her own place to stay, as this is the town where she lives. Siobhan, obviously, as well. Siobhan went and saw one of her brothers, had corgi therapy, where many corgis laid across her and wiggle cuddled, because that's what corgos do. And
I want this to be a real thing.
the rest of you ended up at the Private Tide. Some discussions were had with the proprietor, a silver-scaled dragonborn, who had quite the lovely libation to offer to Mannix. And shortly thereafter, an individual arrived by the name of Castian Oloro, a elven knight who is a member of the census that clearly has known Kira since childhood, was part of the same squad Kira's father was on. He relayed information that members of the census were here in Ruby's Crossing, specifically intending to head to the Shimmerstone mine, where you all intend to go to investigate something. He suggested that whatever causes the Shimmerstone mine to offer up so many different varieties of ore or gems or whatever is found there, perhaps the source was found. And he was saying that because the census, as mage hunters, they have knowledge on containing arcane anomalies. Thus, he suggests they're here for information. Reba made sure to not let herself be known as an ally of Kira's in this moment, slipped out and connected with Siobhan just outside the Finnegan residence. So Siobhan and Reba here having dinner with the Finnegans. As food is being served out, that is where we pick up. So you two specifically, what do you want to do as the head of the household, the matriarch, Nessa Finnegan, as she's serving out this amazing shepherd's pie? Hey, it's good to see you all back. Siobhan, sit up straight now. Okay, elbows off the table. Sit, and don't chew with your mouth full now. Look, I'm gonna have manners. Reba, how are you?
I've been better. I've got some news that I think I should share now that we've all got food available.
Are you in trouble again?
Oh, that's never changed. We know that. But did you know about the census members coming to town?
And just full on. Rory is it the eldest or the middle brother there?
Middleest.
The middleest. Rory will full on choke on his beverage hearing that, and calm just stops. glances up over the outer lip of his mug. You mind telling me what you know there, Reba? That's quite a piece of information to be having come about in this town.
I'm sorry to sour anyone's appetite. It just
Oh,
happened. Siobhan, you weren't there.
no.
It's
Listen, Reba. No blame to you. I don't suggest for a moment you can help the information you hear or learn. I'm just hoping you can share with me what it is you heard.
I'll tell you everything I know. The name is Castian. He was over at the Private Tide. We've been traveling with this group of people, and a couple of them are servants of the Empire, if you will, which I know isn't great, but they haven't done anything untoward yet. They haven't put a toe out of line, and we're keeping a careful eye on it. I consider it my responsibility to keep a careful eye on them. But this guy named Castian, who's apparently a member of the census, came by, spotted one of the people who we've been traveling with at the inn, the Private Tide, who I know is it's a more tolerant place for those folk than the rest, and came by, slapped him on the back, gave him a good old greeting, let him know that a few more members of the census are going to be coming by tomorrow to investigate the same anomaly that we were thinking of investigating.
It's quite a bit of information there.
The fuck are they doing so far outside of their own jurisdiction?
And Nessa was forgetting. When the fuck have they ever given one shite about their jurisdiction? Reaching out, going in where they don't, but you be careful there, Siobhan, Reba. Look, you could be getting yourself messed up in all kinds of. So, Reba, are you getting Siobhan in trouble again? Is that what's happening here? And Calm will place a hand towards her. Nessa.
No, she's right.
No.
I am. I thought I would give everyone a good time at the fair. I thought we would have fun. There was this adventure. There was a farmer who needed help and a chimera coming through. And Siobhan had just won this incredible, well, come in second, almost won this incredible tournament. And we got up to a little bit of adventuring, and I think it's going a bit further than I foresaw. And it's my fault, and any sort of trouble that Siobhan is in, I dragged her into kicking and screaming.
Reba, I want you to answer a couple of questions for me honestly here. Did you set forth into anything thinking you were going to cause trouble or with an intent in malice?
No, but you know what they say.
No,
about
it's a simple yes or no question. Simple yes or no. And my second question to you, in all of this, have you done right by and looked out for Siobhan because, one, I told you to, and two, because you know it's the right thing to do?
Done my best.
Hey, then it doesn't sound like you've done anything wrong to me. Sounds like you tried. Doesn't sound like you're mixed up in any of this imperial nonsense. Did you go and join the census during your time? Do they have a recruitment center in Harmony Creek? Is that what you're going to tell me next?
Yeah, they asked me to do see how many push-ups I could do, and they had this pull-up bar, and they said I could see the world. And no, I didn't even interact with them. As soon as that guy walked in, I backed off. He didn't even know I knew his friend.
Which is my last point. You're here telling us. Don't be so hard on yourself. Please. You've done enough blaming yourself for a silly indiscretion so many months ago. It's forgotten. It's forgiven. You've done right by this family ever since I set you up with work. And by the way, Reverend Cinder, he did stop by during the week you were gone. He does say he has many more books for you to organize next time you're over at the temple. He's believing he could keep you occupied for quite some time as his studies take up far too much time to be organizing. Yes, Siobhan.
When when Midar said that all is forgotten and forgiven, Siobhan definitely looked to Nessa to see how she reacted to that.
Nessa glared.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
As this is being said, the one of the windows, it's got some overhang on the outside that keeps the rain from getting in. So it's open, letting in a gentle breeze, simply because when Nessa does cooking, she goes all out and has to get some of that heat out of there. And all of a sudden, this little hammercock lands on the windowsill, a parchment in its bill. Reba and Siobhan, you would definitely recognize this bird.
No. I
Full
start to shoo the
take.
bird out the window.
Full double take. Oh, for fuck's sake!
No. Bird should not. Nope. Bird doesn't need to know about this place.
As you do that, it drops the parchment in and flies off.
Stupid fucking bird.
I
What
get up
does
to
it
get
say?
parchment.
So, opening up the parchment, it says, "These census members are among the most powerful if they're my dad's oldest squad. I'll try to keep their eyes on me and off you and Reba. You didn't want to be mentioned by name in the letter. I figured you don't want to be in their view."
What the fuck is this kid's game? What is he going at?
I think he might be kind.
Oh, that's even worse. I hand the letter over to Colm. This is what we're talking about. Kid by the name of Kirazara. His dad was a witch hunter, but he has been useful at the least and kind at best for the amount of time we've known him. He's followed around by a dragonborn named Mannix. Both of them have magical abilities. I believe they're both wizards. When Kira makes reports to the Empire, we told him to leave us fully out of it. Not a word, not a hint. Made sure that we read everything he wrote before he even put the pen away. It's been a clean operation so far.
Siobhan is like this whole time has been kind of sinking lower, and lower,
Yeah.
lower in her seat, and is like,
Are you like full Kilroy was here yet?
almost, almost.
It's like
It's just
almost Kilroy territory.
Siobhan, you know if this was less serious, I would not be a tattletale, but oh boy, once the census members showed up, all bets were off. I'm so sorry.
Paul reads the letter over, he folds it up, holding it, looks to you two. This letter here's one of two things. Either he's trying to deceive you both and wants you to let your guard down, or, and I think this is far more likely, he's trying to do right by you and is sending a warning.
He's only 19.
He stuck his neck out sending this here, though. Every chance this gets intercepted by somebody he doesn't want it to, all of a sudden he's got some explaining to do. So, I'll be honest, I think he's on your side, and I'm a pretty feckin' good judge of character, if I do say so myself.
I'm so afraid that one day I'm going to make you regret saying that.
Well, if you're talking about yourself, you can't, because I judged you and I judged you properly.
again glance at Nessa.
Nessa just, the skin around her eyes crinkles a bit, like her crow's feet get real deep.
I don't think I'm going to be organizing those books, Colm. Although it sounds damn nice right now.
What you got in mind?
There's something going on in the mines. I'm picking up tomorrow and heading out with the group.
You can't
Okay.
fucking go. Did you read the letter? You can't go. It's not safe.
Everything that has happened with this group has involved some form of the undead, some form of necromancy,
Well,
some hint as to what I'm looking for.
What undead?
Oh,
At this point, I think Siobhan is just throwing her arms up in the air. Like, I gave up. Do you not have a family? Do you not know about keeping your fucking mouth shut? Are you brand new?
What undead, Reba?
And I'm looking at Kieran too, because he was the only one who knew. Imagine he's just like that.
Kieran is just, you watch this, he takes his fork and he just presses it as deep as he can into the center of his salad to get as many big leafy greens, and he just loads his mouth with big old mouthful of salad. And he looks at you, Siobhan, as he does it, make it very clear, I'm saying nothing. I'm not part of this conversation. You know that this is his technique of, like, when he's asked a thing, is that he just crams as much vegetation in his mouth as possible. It's like, ooh.
I imagine Rory's just like at a tennis match, just like
100%.
excited.
well, do you
So,
want to tell me or should I?
So, no, you've done enough talking, I believe.
Yeah.
So I tell them about the chimera at I have the thing somewhere.
Dabbler.
Yes, yeah, the chimera at Dabbler's farm, and how it showed up and was undead, and then I tell them about the
Drauger.
sorry, I can't read.
It's okay.
My sunglasses.
The Drauger.
Yeah,
And
so
the
I t-
necromancer.
yeah, I tell them about the necromancer and the Drauger, and then yeah, and it's
And again, I am sorry to be the bearer of bad news. And Siobhan, I'm sorry to drag you into this and be a tattletale, but if there are undead coming up, or whatever it is they do, 30 miles from here, I cannot keep that a secret. I have seen what happens.
and I ignore her and keep talking to my parents and say, yeah, we'll say took the job against my better judgment because I thought it was a chimera, turned out to be an undead chimera. Basically only went around to the next part because I didn't trust. Then I felt I had to keep an eye on Reba because she was. It went, whatever. It's no one else's fault. I can't blame anyone else. I went against my better judgment, but I went.
And Nessa will look at you, Siobhan. Who did you take the jobs from, if I can ask? Who's handed out jobs like this willy fucking nilly?
The first was from Marshall Bicker.
Oh, well, I mean, if it's Marshall Bicker, and
That was,
and at that point, Colin
Yeah.
look at her. All right, if it's Marshall Bicker, the handsome one, you can take any sort of job. All of a sudden now, we don't have an issue with it. I see. Your ma's got a crush on Marshall Bicker, and she won't admit it. I don't have a crush on. I think he wields a certain authority.
she was just trying not to laugh at this because I feel like I've heard this conversation before.
Many times,
Yeah.
many times.
I did say Marshall Bicker to her, knowing that would help.
Yes, yes.
She's not wrong.
Yeah. Nessa is the only person who insists that the mutton chops are dignified.
Do they wield a certain authority?
I mean, they do, and they look, cool, but dignified? No. They're mutton chops. I mean,
I think there are several Civil War generals that would disagree.
well, they're wrong.
I mean, they're dead. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. And Calm will If the work is for Marshal Vicar, though, he's an honest man. I trust anything he's asking individuals to do. Did you give him your word, Siobhan?
No. No. I said, all I said was that they'd be heading as far as Ruby's Crossing, and that's the way I was going anyway. Didn't, I was going to. I wanted to talk to you, and that, of course, just before I knew about an entire squad of census.
What did your heart tell you to do?
Well, it told me to hide under a pile of puppies, and it kind of likes to do that again now.
And when you're done doing that, because you can't stay there forever.
Won't be around without many senses.
I know you're afraid. I understand.
It's not safe. You trained me my entire life, for the past 10 years at least. Keep my head down. Don't get.
I didn't train you to kill a chimera, but it sounds like you managed to do that.
Very effectively. Sorry.
I was waiting for a better time to tell you this, Bonnie. But I saw something while you were gone this past week. I saw a feller and thought he was an elf at first. And he was perusing the shops, came by the stall, and did the standard business, where are you from, what you looking for, what you about. And I didn't think nothing of him. And then, not a moment was I talking to him. But I swear he answered me in my head. And I thought nothing of it. And the conversation went on. And he answered me in my head again. And when I asked him, are you talking inside my head? And I won't lie, I was a bit agitated. I was startled. He jumped back. And he insisted I didn't see what I saw. But the feller's eyes glowed. And I didn't let him run off before I could ask him what sort of magic he studied, or if it was in his blood. I assured him, I said, I don't rat anybody out. I believe in safe haven. I don't believe in the registries. And I talked to him, and he just said, this is how we are. I said, what are you talking about? He said, my people. And he was obviously a bit shook. He felt like he wasn't totally a complete stranger was asking him a lot of questions. I couldn't get much more information than that, but I don't think you're a human, Ronnie.
So in his head, I say, did it feel like this then? There's another one? Do you know where he went? Is he still in town? Wait. Where is he staying then?
Blushing pirate.
I think I stopped eating a long time ago, and I'm just Mom may be excused.
I
And,
don't worry about your plates, Jim. I'll clean up after you.
and yeah, Siobhan like just kind of gets up and is just kind of nods at everyone very distractedly and like
Yeah.
just halfway runs out the door.
Okay.
It's just retcon that they knew that. It's just retcon that they knew that Reba knew about the glowing eyes, because otherwise they would not have that conversation in front of her.
Sure. Well, I mean, in this case, everything that happened, they actually may have, because
Sure.
this is quite the situation. All that said, we jump back to the rest of you
I was too busy having a heart attack to write that all down.
over at the private tide with one Castian Alluro. What are you all up to?
Having tea and a wonderful time.
Something like that.
Buying him drinks and asking all sorts of embarrassing questions about Kira as a little kid.
And what is it that you ask?
What were his favorite songs and stories? And how long did it take him to be potty trained?
I heard on that last one. I don't know if he still completely is. There was that incident at your 15th birthday, wasn't there?
And I'll probably have to roll a hilariously bad stealth check about this, but I'm just gonna reach over and say, like, now we don't have to talk about that, and like brush my hand against like some of his food, or if he has tea, just something warm, and try to channel a little bit of Ray of Frost in it to just cool it.
Give me sleight of hand. I rolled a perception for him.
Great. If it's a drink, I knock it over.
Is that one?
Yep. Totaling out to be 4.
So you go and you almost knock the drink, and he catches it, and your finger just kind of goes right into the side, one of the sides on his plate. There's these mashed turnips. And your finger just goes right into it. I mean, if you're really that hungry, you could have just asked. As much as I would love to tell you embarrassing stories about him, I will say this: all of his favorite stories as a child, truthfully, were stories of idiotic things that Tyree and I got up to in our youth. He liked hearing just how his father was as an adolescent or as a young man, just seeing him as human. He grew up in the shadow of someone who was larger than life, a individual of uncomparable renown within the Thanomerian Empire. And that's a lot of pressure to constantly be reminded of by individuals, though I did my best to not do that too often. But he honestly just likes to hear of idiotic things we did. As far as embarrassing him, I'm afraid I won't do that tonight, because I'm just extremely happy to see you. I'm sorry I didn't stay in touch better after the funeral.
Everyone gets busy.
He may have been my best friend, but he was your father. Is your father. Is my best friend. I know you don't drink alcohol, so let's get my young friend here one of those amazing mocktails that you throw up. I would like your finest whiskey Two of us will raise a glass to greatest man I ever knew. May his memory live on forever, Kira.
I miss him so much.
I do too. I do too, son. Every day. I wish I had been there. I wish it had been me instead.
They never let me read the report.
That makes two of us.
I just wish I knew at least the precise nature of who or what he was hunting.
Who he was hunting, that information I still have. And their day will come.
I know it probably goes against some kind of confidentiality, but if there's ever a chance I can know, please.
First one I tell.
Thank you.
With pleasure. Absolute least I could do. By the way, it's a fancy new armament you have there. He points at the short sword on your side. I think I know where you got it.
Never said anything about keeping trophies.
And he taps the great sword on his back. Don't I know it? Blood
Pretty
hunter.
good with it these days.
Gotta hear it. Maybe a little duel between the two of us.
I wouldn't say no
Just-
to it.
Friendly one, of course.
Of course, but it's not like we're going to dull the blades, just make sure we survive the strike.
You remember the rules, I believe. Avoid anything essential.
Exactly.
Adding
Oh.
to the pain.
And I think you'll get a kick out of this. And I look to the to who I assume is the owner.
Huh.
You don't mind if I cast a small spell?
If you could do it outside, that'd be preferable, but I don't mind.
Oh, for sure. I think you'll get a kick out of this. And I stand
Yeah.
up and step outside the door.
Cassian will follow you.
And I make it very clear that I pull up my hand with the ring on my right hand,
Yeah.
and I twist it and cast mage armor.
Nice move. I like it. So we'll do this. See you wielding a short sword. I've got one with me as well. Simple duel. Targets are flanks and shoulders only, so that neither of us gets overly hurt. Best 2 of 3 rounds wins.
I'm here for that.
And I look forward to it. After a few more drinks, It's been a long travel.
After a bit, and I dispel the mage armor.
I'll follow you back in, and you, Kira, hear a voice. Oh, yes, that one. We want all of him.
And I'll think back. I can get you blood, but he will kill me before I kill him.
Maybe for now. We wait. Pohaku, what are you getting up to in this wine bar?
I think I'm just kind of enjoying the night here, just seeing Garnet kind of peppering this guy with all of the questions. I think I'm mostly just laughing at, largely just laughing at Kira throughout the night.
Love it. Love it. And Mannix, how is it treating you? Where you are actually in an establishment where you see some other folks that are clearly from the Empire. Your guess is they traveled up to Ruby's Crossing and then over to Harmony Creek for either part of or all of the festival. They're now heading back home, but there's this calmness to them because while again it's not going into enemy territory like it would be going down south into Eyjafjall, this the Vagabond assemblage, they're so proud of being this independent territory that they're always wary of people from the Empire.
Just kind of social butterflying my way around the wine bar, just chatting people up. Nothing in depth, pretty innocuous, but really trying to just gather any information that he can about just the goings on in the area. Nothing in particular, not trying to draw attention to himself.
And you find yourself
schmoozing, definitely schmoozing.
And you find yourself really drawn into conversation with this pair of tieflings, simply known by the monikers of Pride and Envy. And they are just very bright red colored tieflings, upward curled horns, lavishly dressed in robes, very androgynous, and they are just enamored with your company. Do you share a tale of like the encounter with the Chimera or anything?
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
are both enamored. So, Chimera, you fought with this group against such a terrifying beast. It's wonderful. It's exquisite. It's delightful.
Oh, you don't know the half of it, do you?
No.
Look, the rest of my group, they were terrified. They were hanging out in the corner, shaking in their wee boots. But look, I stepped up to the plate. In the face of, by the way, this was an undead Chimera. This was not your run-of-the-mill, oh, I've got 3 heads and I've got a wee tail. Oh, no. I stepped up to the plate and with a mere whistle, whoosh, the Chimera was done for.
Make a deception check.
I'm good at those. Nat 20.
Yes.
For a 27.
They are hanging upon your every word, just completely enraptured by this. Mannix, you said it was?
Aye.
We were just curious, as it can get so hard to have privacy in an environment with so many people. Perhaps the 3 of us and a couple bottles of the proprietor's finest should retire to somewhere more intimate.
What is your preferred what is your wine of choice? What do you enjoy?
We like surprises.
And surprises ye shall have.
You'll find us in room 2. The door is unlocked. They will saunter off.
Did Kira see any of this, or it was like not necessarily overhear everything?
That's a good question.
A perception check. Well, I tend to allergies.
Let's see. Perception?
Yeah.
Well, it's a whole 10.
This all happened while you were showing your whole thing to Castian. So you turn back just in time to see sort of the tail end of Mannix's robes going up the stairs, bottle of wine in each hand.
I definitely make sure before I head up the stairs to just lean around the corner and catch his eye and just a little wink wink, nudge nudge. Know what I mean?
Say no more.
I immediately send Umbani to just give me a feeling of confusion if it's any sounds other than the usual ones he makes when he brings someone up to a room.
Very fair. If you hear anything other than a Wilhelm scream, that's canon now. That is Mannix's Sounds of Ecstasy.
Gross.
Is the Wilhelm scream. It's there forever.
Here for it.
I knew you would be. That's why I said it. Give me a performance check.
Oh no!
Oh,
Thank goodness.
Ah!
Oh, it's not as good. That's an 11.
It's okay.
Womp womp.
Between all the alcohol, yeah, there's a time had by all. It's. I'll put it this way, Mannix. You had never really thought much about how attracted you are or were not to androgynous tieflings, and as of now, pride and envy, possibly your two new favorite words. Like, okay, it's that was pretty nifty. Good time, great time. Siobhan,
Well, having a less good time.
you were headed over to the Blushing Pirate.
Yes.
And as you enter, this place is loud, bustling. You've been here plenty of times. This is not just for people traveling. This is the quintessential watering hole of Ruby's Crossing. You can see the goblin proprietress Thraz behind the bar, just pouring out drinks, and everything. She sees you and she recognizes you, and she gives you sort of an excited wave before going right back to everyone, since this place is very bustling from all the travelers having come in.
All right. How far is the Blushing Pirate from my house?
It'd probably take you maybe 15 minutes to walk there.
Okay, so that's enough time for me to calm the fuck down and
Yeah.
somewhat.
You consider like it's also still raining a little bit. It's a little cold out, so it would give you enough time to breathe.
Right. So I kind of ran off, and then like halfway there realized I didn't get a name. I didn't even get much of a description. I think all he said was a guy who looked like he could be elvish.
Right.
So I go in and I look around. You said it's real crowded, unfortunately,
Extremely crowded.
and just kind of on a hunch, I look for someone who fits the description of kind of elvish, and a man, and is by themselves.
Give me a perception check or an investigation check, your pick.
And hopefully the thing closed itself. My perception is it's a 15.
15. Looking about, you see a few individuals that you would say meet that description. Definitely alone, elvish-ish, keeping themselves. 3 or 4 folks that you would say that kind of fits it. None of them, though, you just aren't getting the right feeling.
All right, so I'm gonna go up to the bar and try to get Thraz's attention.
Hey, what do we have here?
Sorry, I'm gonna need a second. Oh, I can't with goblins. Okay.
I've been some time, Siobhan. Haven't seen you in a minute, have we?
No, I don't think I was at the festival. I was.
Good time, was it?
Mm,
Yeah.
I was wondering if Medar said you had a traveler staying here.
I got lots of them.
I know I went to do some.
Lots and lots.
This particular one looks like he could be elvish. And Medar had some business with him and didn't catch his name. He's been trying to track him down. Wondered if he was still around.
She glances around the bar.
You're looking for an elvish fella that did business with your da. I'm afraid that's not terribly specific.
No, I suppose not.
Anything else you can get me to help with there, lass?
Can I remember anything else my dad said before I fucking ran out?
I mean, the things that seemed to be the most interesting were the fact that he spoke with his mind and his eyes glowed.
It seemed like he might have some minor psychic ability, communicating telepathically.
You'll watch as her eyes kind of get big. And she slides a hand over towards you, palm up.
My memory might be getting better.
Do I know what her standard rate is?
1 gold.
I hand her a gold.
Goes my memory. Now, I know the gent you're asking about. He's staying here right now. He is. Room 7.
And he's there right now. You know.
Aye.
Thank you, Fraz. I'll take the message from myself then. And I take about 2 steps away, and then I turn back and say, "Actually, I'll have the other, please."
Hey,
And she is about to hand it to you.
1 silver.
Of course. It's like, I already had my purse out. I did
Yeah,
not
yeah.
expect. And I tip her another silver, and basically just chug the ale, put it down, and then and take myself up to the rooms.
Going up this narrow, very creaking stairway, you reach the upper floor, which there's just a balcony that overlooks the bar itself, and you go along these rooms, and it reaches a turn at room 5, and then rooms 6 through 10 along another corridor. This actually sort of blocked off where you're no longer visible by everyone there, and you reach room 7.
I knock on the door.
I didn't ask for any service. I didn't order anything. I'm fine.
I'm not sure. Let me look at something real quick. I'm not sure how ability works.
That's fair.
Um,
Sometimes we just don't know.
Talk amongst yourselves.
It's Pros, brought to you by Lordoms.
Exactly. This break of the action is brought to you by Backstory and Lord Up.
Okay. I said, so I say, Colin Finnegan sent me, he said he left something behind at his shop. I've come to return it.
What are you talking about? I didn't leave anything there.
Like, are you sure? Because told me that you had some discussion of some inherent just way that you were, and
You'll hear sort of this sound. It sounds like somebody walking in the door very quickly and opens it, and you can see his face, looking at you. What are you talking about? Who are you? What the fuck
And-
is this about?
and as soon as I can see him,
Uh-huh.
I in his head say, he said you can do this too. Oh, except I'm Irish. He said you could do this too.
He says back in your head, why don't you come in?
I come in.
And he mostly closes the door, but he leaves it open just a crack because he wants to make it clear he's not trying to keep you here, but he also doesn't want people listening in. And then he says back in your head, I don't know why I'm doing that. It's not like anybody else can hear me right now.
Does he have his glasses? Does he have? Can I see his eyes?
You can see his eyes.
What do they look like?
They're this very, very pale, light blue, almost a gray.
Okay. I take my glasses off. And he can see that my eyes are very, 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 very pale teal.
Wear sunglasses at night a lot.
Again, in his head, well, I have this affliction. You see, if I feel something too strongly, my eyes start to glow.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll happen. So why hide it?
I've never known why it do that. And no one could explain to me.
Because of who you are.
I was found by me da. I don't know who me people were. It took me halfway over this continent trying to figure out. No one understood why I could do what I could. I've never met anyone before who looks like me and who can do what I do.
Your people are our people. We're unique. We're special. We are the Kalishtar. I can judge by your face you've never heard of us. Your quarry should have explained all this.
What's that then?
Oh, you poor child. You must feel so lost. Like a rowboat in the middle of the ocean, just desperate for land, but there's nothing. No guidance, no stars, no nothing. I'm sorry. Where my manners. My name is Kudral. I am, or I thought I was the last survivor of our village massacred 20 years ago.
Was it perhaps 22 years?
Could have been. There's been a lot of drinking and some restless nights, and I haven't done the best job keeping track of time. Yeah, 20 years, 25 years, 22 years, sure, it all sounds great. You're supposed to be connected to spirit from the plane of dreams. Quarry. We're connected to them from a very young age. They grow with us. They listen to us. They guide us. The fact that you don't have one, I'm so sorry. They're the ones we can speak to when we sleep, since, well, as you know, we don't dream, so.
I dream. I have the same dream over and over.
You're not dreaming. It's your quarry. They're trying to talk to you.
You see, our village was destroyed.
Yeah.
Was it? Was it a plateau?
Yeah.
And I described, what I remember from my vision, dreams, whatever.
That's home. Was home.
And then one day these other people showed up and they could project energy. And then everyone was screaming.
Yeah.
And the buildings were on fire.
There were a lot of flames. You know that I don't know how much you follow the current events or recent events of sorts. Imperial history, any of that shit. I don't know how much you follow that stuff.
Velmida is this is Jamie forgetting the name of where my Macombe's originally from.
He was originally from, I have the map. Let me double check. If I remember correctly. I don't have the sheet, it was not written down. I believe it was. I can't remember if it was Rebelshire or the Farcliffe Stronghold, but I believe it was that side.
Farcliffe Stronghold.
Farcliffe Stronghold, there you go.
So that's what the Empire said. Well, Mida was from the Farcliffe Stronghold, so he was born. Well, okay, again, I forgot the kingdom. Where the he's born in the kingdom, and now the land that he grew up on belongs to the Empire. So,
Well, not far east from that stronghold up in the mountains, there was that arcane reservoir that the Empire discovered. Sure, you've heard about that. Everyone knows about that. Miraculous how they discover this arcane reservoir, this completely uninhabited section of the mountain. Many places uninhabited after you kill everyone who's there.
how does no one else know about us?
We were a very secluded society. We kept to ourselves. We tended to the northern part of the mountain. It was good to us. We were good to it. And it was a good place to connect to dreams. We were happy there. Until we weren't. I'm sorry I didn't ask your name.
Siobhan Finnegan.
Siobhan Finnegan. I hope your quarry is able to fully connect with you. Because I guarantee you it can tell you what your name was amongst us.
I don't speak the language. I don't. In the vision, I can't understand what anyone's saying.
You and your quarry were never fully joined. Makes sense. And it's harder for it to connect to you now because there was no one to guide you, to tell you what was happening when you slept. You had weird dreams for years that you couldn't explain, right? You kept having the same dream over and over and over. Listen, I don't know if or how the quarry can reach you, but I'm sure there's a way. For one, you know what the fuck it is now. So maybe you can try to communicate with it. I don't know. Maybe you did already. I don't fucking know. I don't know what you do when you're unconscious. I don't know what I do when I'm unconscious. Usually it's at the end of the bottle.
Do you know anyone from the village who had a newborn when the attack happened?
I didn't know everyone personally. There were a couple families with infants. So
How many of us were there?
we numbered just over 3,000.
We slaughtered 3,000. And no one knows.
2 people do. I thought just one person did. Someone else does now.
And it was the Empire.
That I don't know.
Well, the Empire,
It was on their land. This was after Crimson Ridge and all that.
right, yeah.
I don't know who these people were. Won't lie. I didn't even get a great look at them. Hells. The only reason I wasn't massacred. I was out. I was out gathering fucking berries. Because I thought my brother like was bitching about not having fresh berries the night before. I thought, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna find some berries, I'm gonna bring those home to him. And I heard screams as I was approaching, and I'd like to say I tried to fight, tried to do anything heroic. I jumped in a river and rode it downstream. The flames were massive. I just hoped other people were getting away too. I don't know. Maybe I should have just died on that hill with the rest of them. What have I done for it?
What do you do? Just travel about?
Well, I take random work here and there. I've learned how to become pretty handy fixing things. And I look for information about what happened. I look for people I can trust. And the road has brought me up here looking for the denizens of the penumbra. You've heard of it, but it doesn't mean anything to you. It's
Okay, I don't know what that means.
Thieves Guild. They operate on the edge of the shadows. And they're always keeping their eyes and ears open. They're very, very big on redistribution of funds and goods, if you will. Somebody's been hoarding a little too much, they make it go elsewhere. And they collect information.
Well, I know a former thief who owes me a fucking favor right now, so I'll see if I can find anything out for you.
Appreciate it. We'll probably be in town a few more days. You staying here long?
I live here.
Well, my plan is to head out in a few days, maybe head up north. Fort Pride. Might try and either gather information there or might stow away to a boat heading back to one of those imperial port towns. Those ones up in the northwest are a bit of a no man's land, anyways.
I'm sorry, I forgot. There's a bunch of fucking census in town or about to be in town right now.
Fuck them.
They're going to the Shimmerstorm. I just heard there's a. Yeah.
They don't scare me.
You don't have to hide from them.
No, why would
Because I can talk in people's heads and my eyes glow and I can't explain why. And it's not safe to be magic and not know why.
Yeah, when you put it that way, I can understand how growing up had to be hard for you. I'm sorry if I seem unsympathetic. I'm not, I promise you. No, you don't have to fucking hide from them because, yeah, your eyes glow. It's just how you are, just who you are. Now, I won't lie, maybe I'm popping off a little too much due to the bottle and a half of wine I had before you got here. Could be tangentially related, not sure, but you don't have to fucking hide who you are. I sure as shit don't.
No one's ever gotten scared.
Should have gotten scared, but I'm like, I can't do any sort of magic, guys. Yeah, I can talk in your mind a little bit. Something I've been able to since I was born. I can't explain it. Nobody's tried to take me in for any sort of shit. I don't know. Maybe I've been lucky. I don't know these senses fucks that well. Seems like they usually have bigger things to care about. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to hear all this from a drunk stranger.
I'm sorry you're old enough to remember what you lost.
Yeah, me too. But hey, it's twice as many of us as there were yesterday, right?
If you want to keep in touch, your father's not going anywhere. You can always get a hold of me through the Finnegans. And if you need some work, I'm sure my father could find some for you. He knows everyone in town.
Appreciate that. I might take you up on that. Plan is still to head up to Port Pride in about 3 days. And if I don't find the information I want there, maybe coming back here is better than trying to stow away on a boat. After all, I don't swim that well. I'm not looking to get thrown overboard in the icy north. Doesn't seem like a good time.
Your family will help you.
Make sure you help yourself, Siobhan Finnegan.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a long time since I've been able to talk to somebody like this.
I get up, do my sat at some point.
Yeah.
I get up and kind of hesitate, like I don't know what to do, and I just end up kind of reaching out and grasping his shoulder,
Mhm.
and mop my face off and kind of breathe deep, put my glasses back on.
And as you start to leave, he places a hand on your shoulder. He turns you to look back towards him, and he says to you, or says to you in your mind, "We are the Yanasur.
Yanasur.
We are the Yanasur. We are the light bringers."
So I'm gonna turn back around and say, "And what's that thing?"
There is a darkness out there. We keep it at bay. I don't know if that shit's real or not. I was trying to be uplifting and, just give you this bolstering. We're the the light bringers and stories.
Yeah, I don't know them.
Long story short, there's this eternal darkness that'll destroy everything on the opposite side of the plane of dreams, blah, blah, blah. The Kalishtar, we're held responsible, being the light bringers, to keep the darkness away. So, we're the light bringers. Fucking Zaw.
Yeah, I think that's enough for one night.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to, get another drink on the way out, you can't be put on my tab. Just tell them to bill it to room 7. Tell them that Phineas said it was okay.
You're going by Phineas.
Yeah. That's what I'm going by for the next 3 days.
All right, Father told me he saw your eyes, and I ran out the house before I remembered to ask what you looked like or your name, so Phineas. So out loud for the first time since I knocked on the door, I'm going to say, well, good night to you then, Phineas. Thank you very much.
Good night, and thanks for the chat. And give my regards to the chef. I don't know. I guess it's the thing people say. So whatever. I don't talk to people much. Have a good night.
And I head home.
Kira, are you ready to have a quick little?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's have this fight,
All right.
I guess.
Roll for initiative.
Can do. He's going first, probably.
Okay. What'd you get?
12.
12? Yeah, he's going first with 23. I
Yeah.
forgot about his bonus. But he is using a short sword, so this could be interesting. Ooh, no, he will. Well, he gets to make 2 or 3 attacks. He gets to make 3 attacks on you.
That doesn't surprise me.
But his highest one was a 10, as he has a
wow.
negative to he does not have much dexterity. And so he'll take 3 swings with his short sword at you, and you quickly realize all his muscle mass, he's much more used to using a large weapon. His balance just seems to be off. You are up.
All right. Then I'll take my 1 swing,
Yeah, do it.
and that's good lord. 24.
Yeah, you absolutely just right across the flank.
Nice.
1 point for you. And you see as it cuts, as the blood is just drawn right into the blade of your sword.
Mm-hmm.
And second point, he will go again. Another 3 attacks. Okay, that's better. Highest one's a 19.
The 19 will hit.
Okay, and he's
depending
because
on
it's bad.
because I would have asked before we started if he wanted me in my armor or not.
He would have said no armor because he has his armor off also.
Okay, then 13 hits me.
Okay, and just again a slight cut across the flank and tied up.
1-1.
He will use his action surge to do it again.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And that's a natural 20. So, and he just very quickly, and this time he draws the flat of the blade across your flank, just very clearly showing you that he could have you, and just spins it around right under your throat. And he drops the blade and just gives you a hug.
And I crumple into the hug.
You are quick. You are good at this.
I'm just trying to be as good as him.
He takes your face in his hands and he looks you in the eyes. He goes, "Be better." All right, come on. Enough of this emotional shit.
Yeah, right.
You,
Yep.
like we physically cut each other.
Yep.
No more emotional wounds tonight. We're going in.
Absolutely.
We're,
Yes.
We're drinking. Yours won't be alcoholic. You know what? Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna drink extra alcoholic drinks for you.
There we go. And now that I've shown that I can do a mission, as soon as I can get back home, I will be able to have my first drink.
Did your aunt say she had to buy it for you or pour it for you? Or just have it with you? Pour it? Then let me buy it.
When we get back home.
I look forward to it. Anything for the rest of you for the course of this evening?
At some point, having watched Kira have just some moments and talking about his father and kind of listening all. At one point, several drinks in, I'm sure, Garnet's just gonna get up, stand on her chair, so she's kind of eye to eye with Kira, and
Cute.
say, "Can I give you a hug?"
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if I'm your type, but absolutely.
And she'll give him a big hug around the neck and just say, "I think I understand you a little bit more, and I'm happy to be traveling with you," and just give him a little peck on the cheek.
It'd be difficult to see a darker man blush, but you can still see even through him being pretty dark that he's like flushed at that. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Thank you. And he just tries his best to compose himself, and he's fooling no one.
So I'm guessing for Mannix, well, I think we know what he's up to, though. We don't.
okay, Jordan.
Can we
Jordan, this is
onomatopoeia?
important.
Can we onomatopoeia that somehow into the title of this
I was
episode?
gonna say, write down. the
Please
title
write
of the
down
episode is
Wilhelm Scream. Please write that down, because the last couple ones I forgot. And this one just needs to be Wilhelm Scream. Oh,
Oh Jesus!
I'm never going to hear the Wilhelm Scream again.
It's only going to be this. We've ruined that classic sound.
Good. I love it. It makes me happy. Siobhan, you getting back to the Finnegan residence, Reba still being there. There's a bit of a awkward silence in the air as you come in, and Calm takes one look at you. He can tell there have been some tears. He's like, everything all right?
And I'm going to sit down at the table and tell them everything that I'll use the name Phineas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell them everything that Phineas told me. Hold on. I had stopped crying. All right. Say it had to be the Empire, didn't it?
It's possible.
Do you know? Because the dude Phineas explained where. Well, I mean, I know where the Arcane Reservoir is, or it's roughly. It's like I know you didn't live there at the time, but do you remember when it was discovered?
I do. It was announced as this great day in the history of the Empire and all that incredible shite and whatever. I won't lie, I never put much care and stock into anything they had to say, but there was a lot of celebration. It was said that a new era of the Empire would be brought forth from this. It was, oh, I would say it was almost 30 years after the end of the war. The current emperor, he was still a wee lad at that point. This would have been under the watch of the previous one, Vilmos Thanamir. It's entirely possible it was done at his behest. He was a vicious man. There were many who were not sad when he was put in the ground.
But you don't remember if it was said, who discovered the land.
I don't entirely remember. The announcements was that just some sort of nonsense about soothsayers and arcane guidance and whatever you have. They made it sound like it was magically brought to them by divine discovery, which I know it's a contradiction in itself, but they wanted to make it sound like the light of the gods along with magic and all that. A gift from Baldur, from beyond, if you will.
Is there a way we can find out more? Some kind of record or something?
I mean, if you want to go to the capital city of the Thanamarian Empire and look through the official crown's records, I'm sure you could find everything you want to, but I don't know how you plan to get on into that place. I'll say this. And as he starts to Ness is like, no, Calm, you're not going to say, and for the first time in your life, you actually hear Calm's voice rise slightly when Nessa's talking. Nessa, I will not be spoken over right now. I love you with all my heart, wife. But what I have to say right now is important. Siobhan, if you're looking for answers, and I don't blame you if you are, I don't think you're going to find all the ones you're looking for within the borders of the Vagabond Assemblage. I think they lie for you beyond here. I also think members of the census are gathering anywhere around here. It'd be a good place to possibly have eyes and ears if possible. But if you do it, be safe. Is this what you want to do, Vonnie? Find out who you are, what happened, all that.
She takes off her glasses. This is not just Judy. I've been scared of them fucks my own life. And I don't have to be. Because I'm a Kalistar. And my abilities are inherent. I have nothing to answer to them for. But they will answer to me for the 6,000 people that were killed. I love you all, and you will never not be my family. But I need to go find out more about who I am and what happened.
Serious. Sure. Come with me for a minute, please. He stands at the table and he says, "We'll be right back. I promise. And we'll discuss more in the morning, but come on, Sean.
As I'm going away, I'm gonna fall over I'm gonna kind of over my shoulder sheepishly, like, sorry for all the dramatics at your table, Ma.
And Nessa takes your hands, goes, "Hey, you take after your father." And Colin will lead you to the forge. Places his hand on the forge itself. You never know always exactly what the final result's going to be when you start working something. You may have an idea in your mind of where it might go, but you can't predict everything. No matter how many designs you draw out, no matter how much you've planned it, all of a sudden, the metal cracks where you didn't expect it to, or it was hotter than you thought it would be when your hammer strikes it down. It stretches it more than you meant it to. You don't know what a blade is going to look like. People are like that. You can't make them go exactly where you want. This is your path. You've got my complete support. After all, if I had done with what my parents wanted me to do, I would never become a smith. I'd never met your ma. I'd never live here. And I would have never met a hunter carrying a wee infant, looking desperately for someone to take care of her, to bring on home. That was my path. You have your path. But you're not going along this path without a piece of your da. And it's final. He goes to this wall of tools. He reaches up, takes one of his hammers off of it. He extends it to. Now, as you know, I am one of the very few non-dwarves to ever go to the Eternal Forge. I used this hammer there. Hammer carries a blessing. You're going to take it with you.
No.
I'm not asking for your permission, Bonnie. You're going to take it with you.
Yes, sir.
And here's what you're going to do. If any that you travel with, they need work done. They need weapons improved. You know how to re-edge a blade. You know how to temper a blade. You know how to enhance a blade. You know how. I told you. I know you've never done the enhancement process. You know how. That hammer will help you. Hammer is unbreakable. Gift from the dwarves. But that hammer's mine. So, when you get all of this sorted out, I'm going to bring it back to me. I love you, Siobhan.
Love you too, Tom.
College star or human or halfling or what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
You are my daughter. You are a Finnegan. And you are a citizen of the Vagabond Assemblage.
Tallest halfling there ever was.
Hi. Take care of yourself. Take Reba with you.
I should probably apologize.
That's fine. You two watch out for each other. Wherever you go, don't want the other one to follow.
Yes, sir. Seems she needs protection from the census books anyway.
Precisely. Come on. Let's go back in. Your mom made pie.
Oh, dude, I didn't finish my dinner. I'm night starving.
And as Calm comes back in, says, listen all. Tomorrow, Siobhan or Reba are setting out to that mine to see if they can find out a little more of what's going on with these feckers who have come to the Vagabond assemblage. And after that, we're going to figure out where they need to go next. And I'm going to be booking them passage on the train out of town. This is not goodbye. This is till Siobhan comes back. Reba, I want you to go with her. I want you to watch out for her. And I'll deal with Reverend Cinder and whatever nonsense he thinks he has you up to. But no matter what, don't you leave her, Reba Rodka.
Can do.
You motherfucker. I just stopped crying. You can't.
Oh, I can. I can drop the Samwise Gamgee reference.
Oh.
Look, if I have to be all sniffly because I have allergies, somebody else is going to have nasal issues too. That's just how it works.
Couple that sniffles together stays together.
Yeah.
These allergies are just really contagious.
Man, it's weird how that works.
Oh, God.
It's a computer virus.
You should just give me a little heads up, like, hey, maybe you could wear mascara for this particular session.
I never know where these sessions are going to go. You know how that
That's
is.
true.
It's the rule of you chaotic lovelies.
Whew.
Listen, for tonight, we'll have our dinner. Nessa made a lovely pie that we'll indulge in for dessert. And I may or may not have a bottle of elvish whiskey that I've been saving for an occasion. Well, I think tonight's an occasion. Now listen, you two, he looks to Siobhan and Reba, when you set out, just be careful. That Kira, you said his name was?
Yeah.
I think he's a good one. Despite what his desires are, what he aspires to be, his path ain't written yet. You don't know how he's going to get there, who he's going to be, what he's going to become. He seems like a good man. It could well be he finds out what some of these groups are all about. He decides he doesn't want that life. As for his friend, just keep an eye on that one, but I'm guessing his bark is worse than his bite.
He seems powerful, stupid, so.
Well, that could be an asset.
Or he's good at lying.
The other two, they definitely seem all right. Especially what you said, I couldn't quite get from Reba. She said first said his name was Pohaku Kahu, then said that it was Champion Esquire. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. He's a bit excitable. It's his first time anywhere but the swamps.
Yeah.
Or he didn't say where he's from. Did he say where he's from?
He said the Whispering Wood by way of the Branch Mothers.
Yes. I wasn't there.
Sure.
I was like, I don't think Siobhan knows where he's from. It's like, I've asked a couple of times, he's been real vague. He seemed not to even know what the Empire was, so
Well, that seems like the kind of fella I would definitely trust in.
yeah, Amish perhaps. I don't.
Well,
Mennonites.
for now, let's enjoy the eve. Let's eat, let's drink, and let's have enough of both that we all sleep in a bit in the morning. No reason to rise at first light. We'll enjoy this evening.
And so then,
yeah.
yes, Garnet, I did in fact fall on my face into the cake on my 8th birthday.
But what kind of cake was it?
I think, and I look over to Castian and it's like, I'm pretty sure it was a chocolate cake, but
He nods. He's given that drunk nod. That very. He's deep in his cups.
so yes.
Because he's like, Kira, I am going to sleep because tomorrow is big. I'm going to have a hangover, and I'm going to start sleeping that off. It's good seeing you, son. We'll talk more in the morning. If I don't see you on the path to the mine, I'm sure I will see you there. And with that, the festivities of the evening draw to a close. Everyone finds their way to bed. Mannix eventually finds his way to his room as Mannix is awoken by the fact that Pride and Envy invited even more guests to the room. And
Oh no.
Oh my.
as the numbers increased, he departed. Having had his fun, he doesn't understand how they don't ever need to sleep, wondering if they are just sleep all day, party all night people. Garnet, Bohaku, you each having your own room, own bed, own space to just stretch out and sleep. It feels good. These beds are extremely comfortable. And Garnet, you feel just this combination of nervousness and excitement for going to the mine tomorrow, hoping to learn what exactly has become of Haymir and Bohaku, knowing you are going into the earth itself. Perhaps this is the first step forward in knowing what this journey you are on is all about. If you haven't given yourself a long rest for the last one, do it now, because you're definitely getting one here. I guess Kira would need like 1 hit point back from the little duel.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just for funzos. So yes, you will all wake in the morn, but we will pick up there next time. And
Do somebody else's backstory.
yes, well, that's what we'll do. And we will see what chaos awaits.